Day 14 podcast, the highly anticipated Mitch White episode. We recorded this on Tuesday and it took every bone in my body not to drop it. Credit to us for being patient with it. I wanted to drop it like immediately, but patience is a virtue, as they say. So I am fired up for everyone to listen to it. Let's go into it. Avery just came from a recruiting trip with Laurier. How did that go? Any big time prospects we're going to be looking at here?
Big time is probably the wrong word to use, but there was prospects there. There was players.
How do you convince a guy to not go to the U.S.? That's the challenging.
So this was a recruiting trip for Canadian kids, but they're like the first thing you ask is like what they're gonna do, and then sometimes they say, I'm gonna go into engineering, and then it's like, okay, like you're not gonna go to school here, like that's fine. Or one kid was like computer science, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe you got a chance to go here then. So it's funny, but being at Laurier is easier than some of the other schools for sure. But no, it's good.
So you kind of want, no disrespect, you kind of want like the dumb kids.
No, the business kids. The business kids.
So you want the business kids, but so if you see a guy that's really good in your brain, you're like, he's not going here, right? Like you're just like, he's going to like the States probably, or those kids don't even show up.
Like, those kids don't really show up.
Yeah, those kids don't show up, but you hope they go to like a really bad JUCO, and then you talk to them next year after they hate baseball, right?
Yeah, so pretty much what I did.
Yeah,
actually, no, I graduated. Credit to me. Did 2 years, even though I hated it. JR, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Fucking living life on a weekend.
Long weekend?
No, I said living life on a weekend. I'm excited for this. I guess we sort of have to. We only wanted to keep this 15 minutes, but we got to talk about.
There's a lot of stuff we got.
The Manoah situation, I guess, is urgent.
Yeah, and the Chad Green stuff too. There's a decent amount of stuff. But before we get into that, I have a controversial take that might get me canceled, but I want you guys to kind of talk me off the ledge with it. If you drink Caesars, there's something sickening with you. There's something seriously wrong with you. Is that a controversial take? I think that's the most disgusting fucking drink ever made.
I mean, you got to be 90 to be drinking Caesars, right?
But I feel like we might get roasted for that on this.
You should have saw what we did at a rookie party once. Abe was there. He was the veteran. I don't even know if we
don't put this on me.
We can't put it. We can't.
You forced the kid to drink it, didn't you? You sick bastard.
Yeah. Some people love Caesars. I don't think it's crazy. You rather love it or you hate it.
It's the most disgusting. Like you're drinking.
Do you think it's a good hangover drink? Because people usually
no. I don't think it's a good nothing drink. I don't think you just. I think you're sick in the head if you drink Caesars.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I see Caesars is when people make ridiculous novelty drinks when they put like bacon on top of them.
Yeah, like onion rings and shit. I think it's just disgusting, dude. Fuck. I really.
Why did this come up?
It popped up on my head. I keep seeing like Insta stories of it, like of people drinking it. I'm like, man, what sick world do we live in for people to enjoy Caesar? So I thought I'd get that off the chest. I think it's just the most disgusting thing ever. I feel way better about just mentioning it now. I
thought you were going to say the Addison Barger, Kevin Biggio thing.
No, that's a clear, like, that's not even a hot take. Addison Barger is better than Kevin Biggio. And that's because some people might turn off the program after hearing that, but I'm all in. Like, let me pull it up here because someone tweeted at me. I'm going to give shout out to Griffin, J-Ram, to TBJ. Addison Barger and AAA hit 385, 44 OBP, and a 769 OPS with a 224 weighted runs created plus.
I'm pretty sure he was only there for like 20 games.
That's fine with me. Start the propaganda. His max exit velo is 112.
But I don't know if there's a place for him to like break camp.
Well, when Kevin Biggio got sent to the Sun, right? I love Addison Barger. I love his swing, and I want just to give this kid a chance.
Everything about him seems pretty awesome.
He's in electric, and I know.
No, he played 8 games at Buffalo, dude.
All right, so I was bamboozled.
I think like Otto Lopez might make the team out of camp as a guy who can hit lefties better.
I was looking at Kevin Biggio's stats. Like, does he have a good what's it, above average? Sure. Like, he just does he get on base? I guess, but like, fuck, man, I can't believe there's still Cavan Biggio coattail riders out there. It's crazy to me.
I actually don't. I guess it's because of his dad, maybe.
But like how long are we going to use that
excuse
like that though with his dad? Like,
I mean, like, think about it. If I just thinking like if he was just your average Joe coming into the league, like I don't think he'd be as popular as what he is.
He is popular. There is a crazy group of
people
Cavan
had
Biggio.
him at the same level as Bo, which is crazy. Like
Someone
for fandom, when they were coming up, when they were both coming up, like people actually, there were people out there who liked Cavan more than Bo.
Do you remember Fantasy Baseball, Jared, 2 years ago? He was going,
yeah, they had him in the, what was he, like 4th, 5th round pick?
Yeah.
It was last year.
No, times have changed.
No, 2 years ago. Yeah.
How
that
times
was crazy.
have changed.
That
Dude,
was
but I saw a controversy, like, so Damon put like on Twitter, like, give your hot takes or whatever, like that you don't want to say in public. And someone said that Cavan Biggio is going to be better than Whit Merrifield and Espinal. Like, what the fuck are these people drinking? I can't believe that's an actual take. Did we just forget what Whit Merrifield did with the Jays in September and October?
Yeah, I think people just forget how good Whit Merrifield is in general.
Yeah, I think people, yeah, you're right. I think people are underestimating like what Whit is going to do this year in a full year. Like,
he can steal.
I just think he's going to be. I just think he's going to be just like solid for his role. I mean, his role is he's expected to be an 8 hitter as a guy who hit in the top of the order his entire career with KC.
I just don't get
right?
Whatever.
He was. What was that year? Was that 2 years ago where he was like top 3 in swipes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so I think he's going to be fucking.
I trust
phenomenal.
Whit Merrifield's resume more than I trust a guy who was good in the COVID years resume. Like, I can't believe that's even like a discussion topic, man.
Mm-hmm.
Whit Merrifield very well could do 15 home runs, 20 stolen bases this year.
Yeah.
And again, it's a guy who had to adjust to not playing every day for someone who played maybe the most baseball games over a 2-3 year stretch before that, right? Because he was playing 161, 162.
Yeah. I think it'll be good for him also to like he'll get his rest time when he needs it. Like he has that opportunity with the Jays, which is something that he didn't really get. Like
because he was on KC, on a bum ass team. Like
So I was listening to At the Letters. Shout out to obviously there's Sportsnet one. I tuned in for the first time. And they just talked about how old this team just randomly turned out to be. and I was like, yeah, everyone on this team is pretty much old besides Vladdy, Bo. I mean, Cavan Biggio, I guess, Kirk.
That's what the 2015-26 team did, though.
Yeah. I think it's really good, to be honest, for playoffs.
But old
like
guys coming off injuries, betting on bounce backs, kind of an interesting way to do it, right? And Kiermaier and Belt.
Yeah, but it's worth the risk though, especially with the upside that a guy like Brandon Belt has. Obviously, Ross Atkins knew with the walls coming in or like the changes it's going to make 15 feet coming in and stuff like that. So it's going to play into the strengths of Brandon Belt. But yeah, I think this team is going to be special, man. And people are really just downplaying the whole Dalton Varsho side. MLB Network said like key Jays acquisitions or something like that, veteran leadership or whatever, and they just didn't even mention Dalton Varsho. I guess he's younger, obviously, but he's going to be a massive part of this team, and people are sleeping on the boy, man. I fucking love Dalton Varsho. I think he's going to be a massive part of this team. It's going to be – I can't wait till game 1. That's what I'll say. Because I'm going to be blackout fucking annihilated in St. Louis, and 2, it's just going to be good to see baseball again, man. I mean, it's fucking minus 30 outside.
Yeah, this week is horror. This is Sudbury weather, eh, Jared?
Yeah,
get outside,
it doesn't feel like baseball's coming soon.
No, it just smells that's different when it's this cold. So it's been a nightmare.
Yeah, you wake up in the morning and you think you're fucking sick, but it's just because it's so goddamn cold outside.
Yeah,
you have a sore throat.
We're staying at a casino in St. Louis, Jared.
That's scary, but whatever.
Why is that scary? That's normal.
I mean, John Man has a gambling issue.
Oh fuck yeah, you do have a gambling issue. But no, hey, you rather gamble or you don't. Like in a sense of you, like, because in Windsor you didn't gamble because you
credit to me actually. That is very responsible of me. But once
you get that money down, you're done.
I want to talk about St. Louis. So, like, this is weird, right? The Jays opening up against an NL team.
But it's awesome.
Like the first,
though.
I know it is sick, but is that the first time that's ever happened? Like,
ever might be a stretch for me to find.
But in
out,
a long period, like,
fuck,
I don't
gotta
remember
be,
the Jays.
It's got to be
ever,
the first time ever.
I don't remember the Jays ever really facing a fucking.
Because I think last year one team played across, like they.
Yeah, it was A's versus the Phillies. I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there was more than one. But
I can't. I would think that this would be a rare situation.
Do we have an issue with that though? Like,
no, I don't. I fucking love it, dude.
I
It's
love
gonna be
this, dude.
awesome.
I love
Jays
this
at
new
Busch
type
Stadium
schedule.
opening day. Are you kidding me?
But then they get kind of fleeced on a Tuesday opening day.
Yes, they get a little bit. Yeah, they get cucked a little bit there. But other than that, though, it's going to be fucking awesome. So I can't wait for that. But let's go into a couple things here that we have to talk about. First, we'll start off the Chad Green signing. I don't know why people are hating on this, especially Jays fans are like, why do we always have to sign damaged goods? Why do we have to do that? Why do we have to do that? Like, he is going to be back in July, and it's an $8.5 million deal for 2 years. It's not like the Jays are backing up the fucking Brinks truck for this dude. It's a gamble on a guy that's a good relief pitcher.
So I think the damaged good things is what you have to do to find value in people, right? And in contracts. It's not, if Chad Green fully healthy, he's probably top 3 of guys who get signed as free agents this offseason. And they save themselves a lot of money by not having to give him that deal. Again, it's the contract is, there's so much that goes into it with options, player options, all that stuff. It's an interesting way to get the deal done. So if it doesn't work out, they're not on the books for forever for a ton of money. So it's a guy who's been a top.
It's not like the Yankees with Frankie Montas or the Giants with Michael Conforto, who hasn't played in forever. Like,
no, it's pretty clear cut that it's a Tommy John injury and that's it, right? And you recover from that and you're good to go.
Yes.
So if he finds a way to pitch meaningful innings in the playoffs, awesome signing. Best you can do, right? Like, you can't expect him to be perfect as soon as you get back, but you want him to be able to pitch meaningful innings. And another guy who can shut down. Fastball velo is not really there, but he gets a lot of swing and miss on it. He throws a curveball slider thing that's really good as well. He's been so good for a long time for the Yankees, and
it's going to be awesome. Like, if he just carves the Yankees their tears about, like, because listen, the Yankees are in shambles, dude. Frankie Montas could be getting Tommy John. I think if I read that correctly, that could be fake
surgery.
News.
I think
shoulder surgery, and I don't think Scott Efros is playing this year, right?
Tommy John potentially.
Yeah. So the Yankees are in shambles. Like, they're gonna have to. And listen, I like, we always talk about their lineup. I don't think their lineup is good, especially with the obvious possible regression for Aaron Judge. But this is a big year, man. I mean, obviously the Jays are going to have injuries. Like, that obviously makes the most sense. They're going to have injuries. It's just baseball, but I love it. And the depth in this bullpen is fucking insane, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have a guy that's going to be the Jays have, how they did it is they now have 2 like trade acquisitions going to be coming back in July, technically, right? You got Ryu that's going to be coming back. That's like an acquisition at a deadline type of guy. And then you have Chad Green, who's going to be coming back in September, maybe August, whatever, depending how it goes. But those are 2 massive additions to a team halfway through the season. That sets them up for success.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to be happy. You look at even this AAA bullpen that's going to break camp, like with Zuleta, Pearson, Pop, those Fernandez guys that we signed. It's going to be really good, and we're not too worried about that. So it was masterful offseason for a spot in the team that really needed help. And it was done creatively, and you just got to tip your cap. You hope it works out. Again, they haven't played any games, but on paper, this looks like an elite bullpen.
Yeah.
It's all we wanted, man. Just address it. And he addressed it. He addressed it in many different ways. And I think it'll work out.
Ross Atkins forever, man. We'll see, actually, because you know what's crazy is, and I just knowing Blue Jays Twitter, the first appearance that Eric Swanson has is do or die. He goes 2 scoreless. It's like, wow, the Jays really fleeced these motherfuckers and got Eric Swanson for Teo.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's, if he gets shelled, it's like, wow, we really gave up fucking Teo for this bum, or we really did that. Like, that's just how it works. Like, that's just how Toronto Blue Jays Twitter works.
I think we'll be a little more better than that. I'm hoping.
No,
he's kind of a forgotten acquisition a little
He's
bit.
very much forgotten. It was
because
so
it was
early.
so long ago.
Yeah,
dude.
it was so long ago, dude. Like, if he's semi close to a top 3 reliever in this pen, like, I mean, like, holy fuck, man, this team is like, I mean, Chad Green comes back on the back end and he's good, like, in the sense of like Chad Green is a top 3 reliever in any pen when he's healthy, maybe top 2, you could argue, right? Some say he was going to be, that's what they were saying, is if he didn't go through the surgery, he was going to be the second hottest reliever to get signed, or like he was supposed to be like the top target to be signed. Yeah. So like, I mean, he's a closer on some teams even. So like, I mean, fuck, you pair that up with the Jays getting another reliever also at the deadline potentially. I mean, they're setting themselves up for playoffs. Like, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm pumped for it, man. I really am pumped for this season. This is gonna be special. And I tweeted about that just the schedule, just being able to watch like Fernando Tatis go toe to toe with Vladdy, Padres, Blue Jays at the Rogers Center in July when it's nice and warm out is just gonna be a movie. Let's be real here. I'm going to every game of that series. I already texted Musgrove about it, and he's pumped about coming here to Toronto. He's never been. But it's going to be fucking awesome, dude. I can't wait for this. I can't wait for just the weird teams that are going to be coming to Toronto that we haven't seen in like 6 years here.
What I haven't even looked at some of the teams that are coming. You said
That's
the schedule.
great.
Pardon?
The Braves are coming here.
That's
They're going to have
awesome.
Acuna versus Vladdy. Like, this schedule is going to rule, dude. Like, you have the
It
Pirates.
is nice not having to see the Orioles 17 times a year.
Yeah, that shit just gets old, man.
It was good when they suck, but now it's like,
now it's like
really
nightmare feel.
I really want to see them.
Yeah, it's gonna be all like this schedule rules, man. Like you got obviously all the American League teams coming here. You got the Pirates coming here, the Phillies, the Braves, the Brewers, the Mets. I don't think the Mets are coming here. Actually, that might be an away game, but it's just the Giants. It's gonna be fucking awesome, man. And it's gonna be like an awesome way to preview series and like just tap into it because we've never had to recap these teams before and like talk about the rotations and stuff. It's going to be sick. It's going to be also a lot of good jersey matchups, like the Jays versus the Giants or Padres. It's going to be sick. That's going to fire me up.
We you did some numbers again on another tweet, Johnny, with
Estrada.
Yeah. What? I mean, that one of the best videos of a game of all time.
He rules. The Jay, imagine
package.
Estrada in this rotation. I mean, we technically have him, I guess. But Kevin Gossman has blowaway stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Margot Estrada was like, here's 88, shove it up your ass, and then Kevin Gossman's like, okay, I can run it up to 97. It's just
they don't make him like Estrada no more, man.
No,
that dude.
I saw that R.A. Dickey was also on the Hall of Fame ballot this year. Just another throwback.
Got one vote. Shout out R.A. Dude. Yeah. Marco Estrada was special, man. I wanted to give him his flowers because I know I said that a fuck ton last episode. A lot of people chirped me for it, but he was special. And you want to talk about guys that fell off the earth? We talk about John McDonald. What the fuck is Marco Estrada up to?
That's a good question.
He would be an awesome interview because another part of that video that really gives me chills is John Gibbons walking up to the mound, looking at him and just like the reception, and John Gibbons goes, wow. Like that was
the best thing Gibby ever did, man.
And I want to talk about that team for a second. It is a goddamn crime that team didn't win a World Series. That was probably the most special Toronto Blue Jays team in my lifetime for sure.
Yeah.
He was, and then you got Jason Grilli just fucking career resurgence out of the bullpen. You got like LaTroy Hawkins. That team was a wild card, dude. Fuck, I love that team. We need something like that this year, man. Can the Jays win a series this year, please?
That would be sick. No more wild card banner. They're gonna hang it.
Are you serious? That's a thing?
I think so.
Someone fucking shoot me. I hate that so much. That's as political people would say, Trudeau's Canada. That's true. But that's dude, that's sickening. I'm gonna boo. I think if we go to that game, I might boo because we're gonna be vlogging and stuff like that. I know it's not on TikTok. We're gonna be vlogging some games, stuff like that. So We're going to do the 9 hot dog challenge, which is going to be awesome as well. But we need to figure out a way to have someone like, so we don't have to like continue to go down and stuff like that. We got to have someone on
saying
deck.
we need a runner?
Yeah, we need a runner. Like, because that's the limit is 2 beers and 2 hot dogs you can get at the stand or whatever it is. So we need a runner. We need a guy that's going to be going into the mud and just grabbing the shit for us. Because we just can't be doing it every single fucking inning. We need to focus on eating.
You need a beer boy.
We'll call him Beer Boy.
Yeah.
Well, no, we just need to become friends with one of the vendors, I think, as well.
And they could just run it up.
Yeah, you need an insider.
I definitely do.
I will probably puke at that. I'm not a puke guy, but I will probably puke when we do that.
Fuck, dude, you puking like, and you have to puke in your seat.
No.
I don't think has anyone ever done that. I don't think anyone's ever
I've
done
done
that
it once.
At the Rogers Center though, live on video.
I did it in Pittsburgh. It was because I had food poisoning, but I puked.
Yeah, I was about to say there's no way you were drunk.
No.
I'm gonna puke. Avery for the listeners of the podcast don't know, Avery can throw down beers. Like Avery is a scary specimen when he's in the booze. He can just lock that shit.
Especially when there's motivation or like a completion goal. It's
100%.
He actually gets him. He becomes.
He is a scary individual when he's on the booze. He can throw.
Well,
that
sounds horrible.
Yeah,
you were
no, it's scary to the point where it's like you try to go toe to toe with this guy, but you can't.
Yeah,
like he is just gonna body bag you. You can't go toe to toe.
I mean, I'm the happiest drunk person in the world.
No, you are. Like you're a great drunk. I'm just saying in terms of like, if someone tries to go toe to toe with you, they don't stand a fucking chance in hell.
No, it's fun to compete though. Sometimes it is fun to compete.
He's never been taken down.
It's good to get the juices flowing. That's the thing we're looking forward to. But the next thing JR talked about is the absolute Alek Manoah body bag on Recker. Matthew Recker, is that his name? Or I just combined Matthew Ross with someone. Absolutely worked. Like just a textbook working body bag, mud boy. He is the GOAT mud boy. I mean, that tweet where he's like, and clearly it didn't work for you or something like that was wild. Like me chirping him, I made a TikTok and you had the people in the comment section who I trolled the fuck out of that were like, oh, what did you accomplish? And I said, I went to the Harvard of the Midwest. It was crazy. I didn't expect Manoah to come that hard at the guy, but you got to tip your cap.
Him being mud boy as well. Yeah, I like it because he doesn't say anything that's really wrong. Like if you can make your point without being wrong and without like brutalizing another human, it's worse. You didn't say anything bad to him that kids can't watch, right? So I'm fine with it. I didn't think it was totally crazy what he said, the way he said it. He's like, injury wise, like it's probably better for him to be smaller, but how
would Tristan McKenzie be less injury prone? He weighs 110 pounds.
That's where it doesn't really like add up or matter, right? But it's like Alek Manoah's been a big body his whole life. Like if he,
I think he's doing pretty well with it.
Exactly. Like if he drops 100 pounds, who knows how his arm reacts to that, right? And it could be different. Alek Manoah is a hard worker. You see it all the time.
Mitch White said it. Mitch White said it on the upcoming pod that you guys hear, is that he works like a dog. That's the thing though. Like what Abe said is like, it's the off season and these guys are trying, like the comments were dumb. Like they didn't make sense. I mean, it's baseball. Anyone can play the sport. It's been fucking, we've seen guys, like you said, CC Sabathia, one of the best pitchers.
David Wells.
Yeah.
The
only thing that worries me is like, it's like the one backlash is like, is Manoah getting too triggered over things that like, who gives a fuck?
It's the off season though. It's not in the middle.
Yeah,
of the
if he did it like before a start or something.
But I feel like he would have reacted the exact same way if it was in season.
I disagree.
You don't think so?
No, I disagree. I
kind of agree. I kind of agree with Jared, but I don't really care.
I don't care either, but I don't think he's doing it like before a start or if someone said like that before like an appearance or whatever. Like I
don't like the comments are dumb, but it's almost like what happens if these like continue to come out?
That guy could have portrayed
knowing this is getting in his head is what I'm worried about.
That guy could have portrayed that though different. He's like, Alek, I love you, buddy, but I'm gonna need to see you put more like, what the fuck do you know? What are you? Are you his trainer? Like, what are you talking about? I mean, the guy.
Yeah, he clearly made an assumption that he doesn't work hard in the gym just because he's heavy.
He's also in the clicks business too, right?
Yeah.
Something.
Mhm.
We're in the clicks business too.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
but I won't ever fat shame or just ever put this podcast in jeopardy of saying something that's cancelable. So I that was a cancelable take. Like, that guy might get sent to the sun now.
I think
you don't know.
I think Anthony Recker ends that segment and doesn't even realize he said it. And then it comes out on TV and he's like, oh, you need to see the full
I'll
context.
say this. The backtracking, though, of him saying, like, someone cut that to make it look bad. What are you talking about,
Yeah.
dude? That
It
you
was pretty
said
evident what you were hinting at.
Yeah,
You
there was
said
no.
it.
Yeah, like that was the scene. That was the scene of what happened. That. But what do you guys think of like Strowman getting involved in shit?
Strowman, I'm done. I'm out on the Strowman business. Holy fuck, dude. He has to implement himself on everything.
I kind of think it's funny. I got no
It's
issue.
funny, I guess,
He
but
did
dude,
it,
you
he
can
did it on the last one too, right?
This is
Like,
my
he
thing
came
with
in-
Marcus Strowman.
He's
This is my
criminally
thing.
online. He's going to
No, I understand that though. This is my thing with Marcus Strowman. You can't claim to be like a mud guy and get after it on Twitter all the time, but just block everyone on fucking planet Earth. That's what Marcus Strowman has, a trillion guys blocked on Twitter. Like,
he has Leafs fan blocked.
yeah,
Does
has
he?
Leafs fan blocked. Yeah, he has everyone blocked. But like, you can't claim to be a mud guy and get into the trenches on Twitter, but just fucking block everyone. You can't do that. It's pick
That's
one
what
or the
that's
other.
where I think, because we compared, I believe we said a little bit that we saw comparisons between Manoah and Strowman in terms of like bringing out fire and being into the game, like
But we
similar
love
gamers. But I think the difference is like that's what I don't want to see Manoah become, is like a Strowman on social media. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
before.
me neither.
he doesn't do it. He doesn't
He doesn't do
do
it.
it unprovoked though.
Yeah.
Strowman does a lot of it unprovoked, of like, no one's talking about him and he'll just go at someone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do a
Like,
Mike Stud
Yeah,
song
like
on
Manoah doesn't mind, like he doesn't get involved in other people's shit.
yeah, that's, I mean, the Kirk thing, he was standing up for a teammate who like makes sense, but like, I don't know. I'm out on the Marcus Strowman business.
Well, Marcus Strowman was a fan favorite for a reason for a little
He
bit.
was.
Right? Like
Yeah. I loved him when he was a Blue Jay, but like, I just think some of the stuff he does is like cringy. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a really hot take, I guess. I know a lot of people probably agree with me on that, but
Yeah,
I
I
just
don't
think
think
he's
it's
like a
too hot.
cringy, he's like just a cringy guy. But yeah, that's where we'll go from there. But I guess, yeah, we can kick it to the Mitch White episode. I want to
Awesome.
make this clear as well. A lot of listeners of the show are loyal. I want Manoah on this podcast. Avery's brother mentioned that he talked to Manoah about this podcast, and Manoah does know we exist. So I'm gonna need full-blown fucking hammers. I've already seen a lot of people comment on it. I want 1 trillion comments, like, come on the Gate 14 podcast, because you know Manoah lives online. Obviously, he sees stuff. I want 1 trillion motherfucking comments saying, come on the Gate 14 podcast.
And also, I don't know if they can do this, but thank Mitch White in the comments.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, you can't, because he has the thing blocked. So
Well, if you can get around it, make sure you comment.
yeah, thank you. Thanks, Mitch White. I think you guys are going to love the interview. But another reason why I want all of our listeners to like get Manoah on the podcast is because these other podcasts will contact like PR guys and stuff like that. This is the Common Man Show. I have every single guest that I've ever gotten on both of my podcasts. I haven't contacted one fucking PR agent, one team to get on. If this is the people's podcast, all right, I want the people to have some sort of accomplishment for getting Alek Manoah on this show. I want this to be the people's thing. So let's cut it here, man. I mean, Mitch White interview. It was all time.
He's the best.
So many good stories about his time with the Dodgers, and just kind of like a tap into guys he's close with on the Jays, kind of a look into the locker room behind the curtain. I'm excited for you guys to listen to it. We love you guys, man. And actually, sorry. I had to cut that a second. Avery's talked me into getting a Gate 14 tattoo, which without my approval.
No, if we go back to the tapes, you said it yourself. I didn't.
Yeah, I said it, but I didn't come up with a deadline.
Yeah, you said 1,000.
I'll do it. Fuck it. I'll get it on my thigh. I'll get Gate 14 forever on my thigh. Are you happy? You enjoying this? I'll get Gate 14 forever on my thigh. We'll do it when I get back from Vegas. We'll vlog it.
Yeah,
Anything
well,
for
I'm not
content.
happy. I'm just glad you hold up your end of the bargain.
Gate
That's all I
14
care about.
forever will be getting thrown onto my thigh. And I don't know, italics, maybe. We'll figure out the font. We'll get
Arial
it fired,
bold,
but
brother.
we'll figure it out. But as always, man, love you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Electric interview. Let's run this shit up again. The downloads have been crazy. Let's keep it fucking going. And Gate 14 to the fucking moon. Love you guys. Gate 14 podcast. And this might be the biggest, most special episode we've ever done, folks. If you've listened to this podcast, you know how much we've talked about Mega Meet Mitch White. And ladies and gentlemen, we got him. The legend is here. Mega Meet Mitch White is here. Mitch, what's up, brother? How we doing, man?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
So let's go into that nickname for a second. I told you about that on the FaceTime. You had no idea about that?
No, I'd never heard of it.
I'm surprised kids weren't calling you that at the Rogers Center. Because listen, there's a lot of comments on our TikTok pages about Mega Meet Mitch. So it's going to start happening once this episode drops. So I'm excited for it. But let's go into like how this started here. So I talked about this on last week's episode. I was just bored. I wanted to just start some, obviously, listen, we're in the clicks business. So I wanted to start some clicks. And I said you were dating Margot Robbie. And then next thing you know, it just all exploded. Let's get it from your side of the story. So at what point, because I know Nolan Long texted you about it, was your phone, you said your phone was blowing up, right? Like people were texting you about this?
Oh, yeah, everyone. I mean, my parents, my friends, people I hadn't talked to in years. It was crazy. But I mean, it was funny. It was fun. And then now it's taken off beyond just me. It's everyone. Everyone in the league is.
It's pissing me off, man. I feel like I started a trend that I'm gonna hate. Like it was funny when it was us and everyone like we're getting the clicks and people were getting mad at us, but it's like now it's a trend where I'm like, I'm tired of seeing this on my TL. We started a beast. But I'm fine. Listen, it spiraled into you coming on the podcast, so we did a good thing here.
Yeah, it all worked out. It worked out.
So let's go into Avery. I mean, Avery, you have a couple things about his college career that we should tap into before we get into his pro career.
So I was looking up some stuff today, Mitch, and you have maybe one of like the funnier college profiles. So first of all, Mitchell White, not Mitch White. Is that just the name change? It's just pro career. You got to get rid of Mitchell, right?
No, I mean, I've always gone by Mitch even as a kid, but for whatever reason, I think that one just stuck. I think my mom did the whole, like the recruitment process and all that. She's typing out the full name. So
that's fine. That's fine. But the one thing, so it says your interest is like golf, football, and then one of your hobbies is baseball. Is that the worst answer of all time?
I mean, those profiles are so dumb. I think I put fishing. I remember.
Yeah, fishing's on there too.
I probably fished like 3 times in my life. I don't fish. I like golf though. Golf is the game.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So another thing, your college debut. Okay, so college debut against Vandy, right? Number 1 seed right after they win the national championship. They're the number 1 seed the next year. You pitch against them starting off the season. And then you have your MLB opening 2020, no fans. What was like, obviously MLB dream come true, but no fans. Does that like take some stuff away? Were you nervous more for like your college debut or the MLB one? It might be a stupid question, but no fans.
No. I mean, I don't remember the college debut all I could remember was just like -5 with wind chill in Nashville. It was freezing cold. I was sitting in between innings in the bathroom trying to stay warm. Doing jumping jacks in the corner as well, but the nerves weren't that big a deal until after I realized I did this, but whatever. And then MLB debut, even without fans, I was blacked out. I don't even remember it. It was that was like crazy, and it didn't really hit me until like right before I was going in, and then the nerves hit, and I couldn't feel my body. It was just out there doing my best, and it was awful. But we got through it.
Yeah.
Were you ever like that after again, or just the first time it was just nuts like that?
I think my second outing I was good, and then my first outing of the following year there were some nerves. I walked a few guys, had a sloppy couple innings, but same thing. I mean, sometimes you get lucky.
And your major league debut, I mean, you're not debuting for a small market fucking team. You're debuting for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Nolan Long told me this about you. He said, I think your comments on your Instagram are not shut off, but only for people that you follow and stuff like that. I know Dodgers fans are like a tough fan base to deal with, stuff like that. Is that true what Nolan said? Like you were just like Dodger fans were just getting after you like every single start you made?
Yeah, I mean, you get the good and the bad from it. Sometimes it was we love you, and then sometimes it was just destroying you. But I think that's what most guys have to do because, I mean, for me, I was lucky, but a lot of guys like with wives and kids and stuff, they go after those guys. It's just a little much sometimes, but I mean, I get it to a degree.
Tyler Matzik told me a story that his wife was getting death threats, and like Freddie Freeman's kid, like when they were playing the Dodgers in the World Series, like they had to get police escorts because someone death threatened Freddie Freeman's child. Like those fans are wild, dude. When you were there, how like what players did you see get it really, really bad where you're like, man, I feel so bad for that guy?
It's tough for me to know with the more established guys, but it was like the young guys that were coming up who weren't used to it. Because the other guys, they're used to it. They kind of let it roll off for the most part. But the other guys I came up with, everyone was always talking like, you get these Instagram comments, you get this crazy DMs and stuff. And sometimes it's like you gave up a run and blew someone's bet, and they're like, F you, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna slit your throat. Like it gets graphic. For me, I don't really mind it. I don't want like my mom will talk about it and she sees these comments and it's like, all right, that's a little much.
Mm-hmm.
So last thing for me on the Dodgers, I'm looking up your hitting stats. Okay.
Yeah.
0 for 15, 1 walk, 1 run scored, but 25% hard hit percentage. Only 13
Really?
points below them. Yeah, 95 exit velo. How long do you think it would have taken you to get your first hit?
Gosh. I think I had one hit. I have one hit in my professional career in AAA. It was like I was so late on a fastball, I just kind of blocked it, and it went right over the base at first base. And it kind of took a bad bounce. I probably could have got a double, but I was so excited that I got a hit that I just stopped there and like was high-fiving the coach. It would have taken. I don't know if I would have gotten one if I was up the whole season. There's no chance. It is so hard.
So you think you go 0 for 100? No chance.
I
no
mean,
chance.
It's luck. At that point, it's luck for me. I mean, there's guys who can swing the bat. Like those guys know how to swing the bat. They've been doing it for a while. But for me, it's just hard. I tell you what, I walked it with 2 outs, and then we started a rally, and then I think Muncy hit a 3-run bomb or something to score me, and that was the coolest experience I've ever had on a baseball field. It was unbelievable.
Did you hit in like high school still?
I think freshman, sophomore year, yeah, and then junior, senior as a PL.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna be tough when you don't hit for But it's funny because you look at the batted ball data, all of everything you hit opposite field or like up the middle, couldn't get around on anything.
No, I was in the back of the box, like choking up back here, trying to just make contact and play pepper, but it's hard, man. It comes quick.
And then you hear guys on podcasts like like I could get up there face 90, no doubt, and get a hit. And it's got to be the dumbest thing you've ever heard.
How pissed do you get from that? Because I actually I think I posted a TikTok a long, long time ago of kids saying, like, if you gave me 100 at-bats, I would get like 10 hits. And I respond, I'm like, there is not a chicken's dick chance that you would get 10 hits and 100 at-bats against big league pitching. Like some pitchers that you would go up against. Who was the hardest pitcher you faced?
You know, my first at-bat is the one that sticks out. It was against Sandy Alcantara.
Oh my God.
Cardinals. That was in double. So he was throwing just as hard, but he didn't really know where it was going. And he walked me actually. And I ended up scoring. I was sick. But it was like 2 seams coming in at you. And he was throwing all heaters, and they're all 99. And he would like step off or step back a little bit, throw 97. And it was all coming in on me, missing. That was scary. I wasn't swinging. I knew I had that predetermined. There was no shot.
Was it almost like a detriment knowing that you had to hit sometimes too? Like, it's like, I don't want to be up here. No one wants to see me up here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would just start laughing and have fun with it. And the guys on the bench would be laughing at me, like having fun with it. As long as it wasn't a serious situation, I could kind of just go up there and kind of say hi to the catcher. Like at one cool time I faced, I think it was me against Adam Wainwright. He was pitching, and then Yachty was catching. And Yachty was giving me shit. Like Wainwright throws this slider cutter thing. He throws a million pitches. Throws this slider cutter thing, and I swing over it. And then the next one I take, he's like, "Oh, take." And I swing over another one. And he's like, "Oh, next time, buddy, next time." It was cool.
I wanted to go into that trade. So obviously you get dealt to the Jays. It was kind of like, to be honest, man, it was such a random trade. Like I didn't even really hear your name in trade rumors, or like I didn't hear the Jays were interested or anything like that. Where were you when you found out you were dealt to the Toronto Blue Jays?
I think I'd just been sent down to our AAA team with LA. It was the OKC Dodgers. So I was in Salt Lake at the time. And yeah, like you, I didn't really expect much. I remember talking to some of the front office guys, like, hey, do we have anything going on? What are you thinking for the trade deadline? I was like, yeah, nothing big. But I mean, obviously, I think they knew what they were doing at the time. I was definitely on the block. But looking back, it makes sense. Definitely surprising in the moment. But for both teams, I think it makes a lot of sense.
And I want to debunk something, because a lot of people have come at us on Twitter because, listen, some people blamed like you transitioning to Toronto and kind of struggling because you had to find a new apartment or you weren't comfortable with living in Canada. Like I said, listen, Mitch White is 28 years old. He's played baseball his entire career. He went through the minor leagues. He played he played in the show. Him having to find a new apartment has nothing to do with stuff that happens on the field. So can we debunk this right now, that it wasn't you moving to Toronto that kind of change of scenery with stuff like that? Like, just I wanted to debunk that.
No, not at all. Baseball is baseball. I sucked because I sucked. I mean, that's all there is to it. Everyone was great in the transition process. Everyone was helping out with that. It was actually fun finding new apartments because I was just jumping into Airbnbs when we were at home. And then I'd get out, go on the road, and then we come back for a homestand and I'd find a new place in a new neighborhood. It was sick. I got to explore Toronto, and I love the city.
So what are you doing now? Like, do you have a place?
Right now I'm in Dunedin for our spring training facility. So this is a hotel.
We're Mitch White truthers now. So now we're going to start the rumors that you're getting in that early work. Mitch White's getting in the early work. I'm fine. Listen, we have a pretty big pulse on Blue Jays Twitter. The Mitch White propaganda, it already started. We already got people. I mean, listen, and I always talk about how good of a guy you are on this podcast. Like, once we talked on FaceTime, if you're listening to this right now and you haven't ordered or thought about ordering a Mitch White jersey, you're dead to us. You're dead to the Gate 14 podcast. I wanted to bring that up. But what was the first reaction you had, like, when you stepped foot in Toronto? Because obviously you've probably never been here, right? So you probably have no idea like what it was like and stuff like that. What was your what was like the first thing you noticed, or just something different?
Well, I mean, coming into going there and with all the trade, obviously I was getting a lot of texts. Everybody I talked to was saying how amazing the city was, how cool it is, how much you're going to like it. And they were right. Like, so David Price, for example, was always saying that he's a huge fan of Toronto. I think he was here for maybe 2 months. Yeah. But he always would say, like, that was the best city I ever played in. It was so much fun. And he was one of the guys who's like, you're going to love it there. And then I got there. That was exactly what it was. I think the first thing I noticed, the first day I got there, we had an off day or something like that, and I was walking around the city for like 4 hours. First thing I noticed was this homeless guy comes up to me. I was wearing like a wolf shirt. And he's like, dude, look at my forearm. I got this tattoo of a wolf. And I had a freaking 10-minute conversation with this guy on the side of the road. And that would never I'm from San Francisco. That would never happen in San Francisco. And on the forearm, it'd be like a needle instead or some like crazy shit. There's no way. And so it's like, all right, maybe Canadians really are pretty nice. And for the most part, that's been the case. It's been awesome.
That's good. So we can debunk the Americans hate Canada now. I think that's
stupid. Yeah.
But going into this new year, and obviously, like, we were shocked. I think it was Ross Atkins end of the year conference, and he was kind of like, yeah, there won't be many big changes. And then now it seems like the Jays, like, we're coming in with like a brand new team in a sense, right? Like, complete shift. And then even like, I don't know if you've been keeping up, but we've been, but like these renos at the Rogers Center, have you been seeing any of that? And do you have any thoughts about like how different it's going to be?
Yeah. I mean, I'd heard all the news from last year. They said, oh, we got this going on. We got the bullpen, we got a new weight room. And just kind of hearing about it from those guys. Some of our guys went up from Dunedin, like Romano and Simber and Kiermaier. They all went up to tour it. And from what I heard, it's amazing. I don't know if I heard the new dimensions are a little funky, but
17 feet in right center. They're moving it in 17 feet. But I will say this: if obviously your family's going to come down a lot, that like they have like bars and patios on like every level now and right there's like a Corona stuff and stuff like that, so it's going to be electric for like the families to come down here and just kind of see the changes, stuff like that. It's going to be sick. But JR mentions the changes and stuff like that to the team and all that type of stuff. Obviously and listen, we posted a video of like it was you versus the Angels and there was a ball hit to like right field and Teo, I don't know what happened, he had a meltdown in right field, drops the ball and stuff like that. I want to ask you, what is it like being a pitcher in the big leagues and seeing guys like Varsho, Kiermaier, and you got George Springer behind you? How does that change your approach? And how is that going to make you feel when you're on the mound, seeing like such a good defense behind you?
I mean, it's awesome, man. It's that defensive side. I think we definitely put a big premium on that this offseason, as you can tell. It's huge. It doesn't really change how I approach anything. I don't think like, oh, this guy's gonna make this catch in the gap. I could let him hit as far as he wants. But when it does happen, those plays are crucial. I don't think people put enough stock in that just the swing that a big defensive play could make, not only with an out or saving runs, but also in the momentum.
Yeah, so, I mean, Varsho is going to be, that guy is something special. You faced him a pretty decent amount, right? Same division, same division.
Yeah, over in Arizona, we faced him a little bit. And not only is he an awesome defensive outfielder, he can also, I mean, he's a good lefty bat, which gives us a little more versatility in the lineup. I mean, he's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun to watch.
So, Mitch, obviously not the perfect start for you here in Toronto, but you got the opportunity, fifth starter potentially come into the season. What's like the big off-season thing from you? What are you working on? Make some changes here going into spring training and then into the season.
Yeah, I mean, priority number one for me is just to be healthy, get back to just solid foundation in that regard, and then for me, a big thing we talked about is the changeup. Having that extra pitch to, especially to lefties, and then mixing in to righties a little bit, just giving guys a different look. I think when I got over here, I started leaning really heavily fastball slider. And it's tough to go through a lineup with just two pitches. I mean, there's guys that, like Gossman is a great example. He does it because his splitter is filthy and it's unbelievable. But it's just tough to do that. To have an extra lower rate goal is huge. So that's a big one in terms of developing that pitch.
I mean, your slider fucks. Like, let's not beat around the bush here. We posted like I said, the propaganda started, and Avery over here posted a video of you just punching out all these unreal hitters in the big league. So your slider does fuck. But are you working on like you said with the changeup stuff like that? Are you working on to like polish that slider even more, or is that something that you've kind of said stagnant with?
Definitely. I mean, you're always working on it, always tweaking it. For me, that grip, I've had that grip for the last 2 years or so. So that's what I'm doing with it. But there's some finer details, like throwing it backside to lefties or backdoor to lefties, mixing and matching the shape of it. So like early in the count, a little flatter, maybe get some soft contact late in the count with a little more depth, get a little swing over the top of it. And then it's just a matter of not overexposing it. I mean, there's certain guys in the lineup where I'm going to go slider, and that's fine. And I could do that, second time through the lineup, third time through the lineup. But if you want to get through a big league lineup, there's a lot of different looks that you're getting offensively. So I need to match that, change a little bit with the slider, and then mix and match with the other pitches.
Yeah. So the propaganda video that I did, I went through your slider. That Baseball Savant having video for every pitch of all time is awesome. So
that's crazy.
Just sorted it by slider and just clicked it on it, strikeouts. And it was like Mike Trout, Luis Robert. For you, like something you tell your boys, like, hey, who's one guy? It's like, hey, I struck that guy out. Like, do you see that shit? That was kind of awesome.
I mean, the one guy for me was a little bit because of what happened in the game. So Albert Pujols, obviously his last year, I played with him the year before in LA. Great guy. He's the man. He hits this two-seam and off the plate out for a bomb. I have a blow-up start in St. Louis. The next at bat, I'm eyeing him. I want to punch him. I think it was a slider away or something like that. And he like check swung, and he was pissed because the umpire rung him up, and he started arguing. And that was the most at least satisfying because obviously he's an all-time great player and all that, and he's a great guy. He's the man. But that's the one that sticks out. Yeah.
What's the Toronto fans been like with you? Obviously, obviously the fans here are pretty hard, but I feel like they're a little bit less harsh than what I've heard of from like the LA people. What's it been like for you around here?
Yeah, I mean, the way I think about it is the bigger the fan base, the more bad fans you're going to get, no matter what. It's not a matter of, it doesn't reflect necessarily the whole group, which was part of the reason LA was tough because there's just a lot of fans. It's a big market, but that means there's a lot of good fans too. And I think that's the same case with Toronto. I think everyone's been great to me. It hasn't been an issue at all. Obviously, you get your outliers and you get your Instagram commenters, but for the most part, it's been awesome.
And just so you know, like we like to hold guys on the Jays accountable. So we have this kind of like gas fuel gauge meter, depending on like how you're doing and stuff like that. So it starts out with like micro meat Mitch. What's the second one, Abe?
I don't remember the second one.
I don't know the second one, but then like when you're carving, it's like mega meat Mitch. So we have like a gauge to kind of see where you're going. So that's just what we've been kind of doing with you. I think the nicknames all time. I mean, I don't even know how we came up with it, Avery. Was it like after the deadline, maybe when they got him? I don't even remember.
I mean, the things we come up with are stupid. So yeah, like
very dumb. But yeah, dude, listen, I mean, and going into I want to settle another debate here because I'm assuming you were here when the Jays wore the red jerseys, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on those? We're out on the red jerseys.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, I don't know. I like the blues and the baby blues a lot. I think they're great. I think the reds are just, they're not my favorite, but it's kind of nice to have a few options. I wasn't used to that. Started picking the colors and all that. It's pretty cool to be able to choose at least.
Are you the light blue guy with your starts? Is that what you usually go with?
No, I mean, I think I did light blue a couple times, dark blue a couple times. I mix it up. I don't really care about keeping it. It's more about what the team wants. It's like if we've been winning in the baby blues, I'm gonna stick in the baby blues. If we've been losing, gotta mix it up.
Has Kevin Gossman kind of helped you out a little bit? Because like you said, I mean, he's like a 2-pitch guy, fastball slider guy, or splitter, sorry. And his splitter is just absolutely fucking insane. So has he kind of gave you some of his thoughts on like the way you pitch or like what he sees?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's been awesome. Goss is the man. I've tried learning a slider. It didn't really work. I think we're going to shelve that. But in terms of like mindset and game plan, he's been awesome. I think we talked in Baltimore or something like that, a crappy start. And he just we played catch a lot during the season, and he kind of just took me aside and we talked for like 30, 40 minutes just about attacking with a fastball. I mean, just basic whatever stuff. But the fact that he went out of his way to do that was cool. And he's the man.
So you were a guy who was kind of up and down last year, right? The question I like to ask guys, because we're not big league players, what's your favorite thing being in the big leagues that's not obviously being in the big leagues, like the flights, the food, all the stuff like that?
I mean, the food is unbelievable. I'd say the food compared to like AAA to big leagues, it's nothing compares. The hotels, I mean, I don't know why I'm staying in these Ritz-Carltons and like the nicest hotels in the city is crazy. I don't need that, but now I'm spoiled. And then, and flights too. I think all the travel stuff is just, they go the extra mile to make sure you're taken care of. Like charter flights are crazy. You walk down the aisles and all the like overhead bins are filled with candy and chips and sandwiches and booze, whatever you want. They make drinks for you. They have drinks waiting for you on like the side little table. Get a little poker set up on the plane. That's always fun. Watch guys throw money around.
Do you get after it? Do you get after it after a
in
start?
Poker?
No. We're talking about beers here. Do you have a couple of beers after a post start?
I don't drink that much during the season. I keep it more to the off season. But if guys want to go out, then
because Longer told me you get after it a little bit.
Definitely in the off season a little bit. Yeah, I'd say during the season I'm a little more goody, but I mean, if we fly into a city, we got a day or a off day the next day.
Oh yeah,
everyone wants to go out to dinner. I love a good dinner and drinks and see where the night takes you.
That fires me up.
They never did like rookie dinner stuff for you, did they ever? Because in the NFL, you see those guys like position groups go out rookie dinner. $100,000 dinners. Do they do that for you guys?
No. What's nice It's a little different. Obviously, the NFL guys get bigger signing bonuses. They're a little more guaranteed in their spots on the team, at least for a couple years. For baseball, it's obviously like I went up and down for so long. It's not like I had enough money to pay for that. What's cool is it's $100,000 dinners where the big dogs are paying. Those are fun. Not $100,000, but just the most ridiculous dinners you've ever seen.
How's that happened with the Jays? Like, what's the big dog dinner you've had with the Blue Jays? Who soaked it? We need to know.
We've had a couple. Yeah, I think like Goss will pay. Hunjin Ryu will play. He's the man. He's like Michael. It's funny. We go to Korean barbecue with him, and everyone talks about it. People will be waiting in their cars.
Jano said that
in the parking lot. Yeah, waiting for him to come out, and they're like, they just want to say hi. They don't even need an autograph or anything. Everyone's so respectful. They don't want to come in over during dinner, so they sit outside after they eat and wait. So yeah, we did that a couple of times. I mean, in LA, it was like Kershaw, and Pujols, and Justin Turner, and Kenley, and it was like every night we got in, it was like, hey, like this message if you want to go to dinner. We're going out, Chicago or New York or wherever.
So
Yes.
Did you
So
lead
who are you closest with on the team, would you say, with all these dinners and getting to know the players? Like, is there anyone specific that you've gotten really close to?
With the Jays?
Yeah.
Yeah. All the starting pitchers are super close. I mean, everyone's great. Even like Kikuchi, he can only speak so much English, but he's the man. Like I say, for everyone, he's awesome. Cooch is the man. Obviously, we spend the most time together. You know, like we're sitting on the bench together, hanging out. Ross Stripling was one of the guys I mentioned. Goss, Manoah, and Barrios are awesome. And then like I've been here at the spring training facility for a while, so we've been hanging out with Romano and George and Simber and Mesa. We have a good little dynamic in the training room where everyone's just popping off and having fun.
Who's the alpha? Who's the alpha in the chain? Who's the alpha in that locker room? Who's throwing around big boy weight out of those pitchers?
Out of the pitchers, Manoah, he's like, he's big boy weight physically too, but he is incredible. Like unlike anyone I've seen. He's a guy who's obviously he shoves on the field, and then in the clubhouse, he's always talking. He's always got something going on. He's loud. It's not obnoxious. It's just like, I don't know. He gets it. He gets people.
My favorite.
And he's great at that.
Yeah. My favorite Mitch White appearance last year, we talked about it on the show. We said if you ended up getting the win, we would have to all buy your jerseys. You unfortunately, I think, only went 5, but you fucking shoved, and it just fired me up because it was against the biggest clown on the planet, was Garrett Cole. What was that like, pitching in Yankee Stadium in a playoff race against the Yankees, and the $300 million man is on the other side of that fucking dugout against you?
That was fun. That was a cool one. I mean, obviously, first time pitching in New York. I love that city. It's so fun. The stadium has a weird feel, though. It's like everyone always says corporate. I think that's a good way to describe it. It feels almost, I don't know, because I've been there as a kid at the old Yankee Stadium, and it just feels totally different. But obviously, it's historic and all that. I think I pitched. It was like I was getting in trouble every inning. It was the most grindy outing I've been in, but we ended up getting out of it, and I was sick.
Yeah, I mean, four innings, 7 hits, and then 1 earned run. I mean, that'll just alpha the fuck out of Garrett Cole. Because I remember me and Avery were on the golf course, which is Mitch. By the way, you're going to golf with us this year, right? I mean, we'll
go anywhere, man.
We'll go
once it heats up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll walk to the golf course if we have to golf with Mitch White. But we're going to get that going. But I mean, you went 4 innings, 7 hits, and then you guys ended up beating Garrett Cole. What's it like in the locker room after beating the Yankees at Yankee Stadium? Because I think that was like when the Jays went on that massive little run against the Yankees. I think you guys swept that series, right? Or won 3 out of 4?
Yeah, we did well in New York, and then just kind of took off in general in terms of the race. And Bo was the best hitter on the planet.
What was it like in the locker room, though? I mean, what's like, because I always talk about with guys, like they'll tell stories about just how electric the plane is. Everyone's drinking beers after a massive series win. What's it like with the Jays? Like, do the guys get after a little bit after a massive series win like that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you could feel the energy for sure coming in. Everyone's coming in, high-fiving. The whole staff is lined up. Ross was out there, Ross Atkins. He was there high-fiving. Yeah, let's go. And then we come in, and get ready to go. I don't think that was that the day we left? We might have left the next day or whatever, but that flight was sick. It was fun.
That fires me up.
So you've been NL guy, AL guy. Your favorite park that you've pitched in? I mean, there's got to be some good ones at this point that you just love.
Yeah, I mean, for me, San Francisco, because that's home for me. I grew up going to those games. I think objectively, it's an awesome ballpark. Just kind of shitty weather, but that one is an easy one. And then Toronto's up there, LA is up there, St. Louis is really cool when the weather's not terrible. Chicago, Wrigley's sick. Everyone always says Pittsburgh. I don't really like Pittsburgh.
Really, I think that's
Yeah, I think
like,
Pittsburgh's unreal.
I mean the city skyline, whatever, is sick. It's just so, I don't know. Everything feels gray there to me.
maybe because there's no one there watching something.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think the fans play a huge role in that, to be honest. It's like the loudest stadiums are also the best, like LA, Toronto. New York was cool, but like I said, it didn't feel like there was that many people there.
We get that corporate feel at like the Leafs games. Are you a hockey guy at all?
Not really. I mean, I grew up with the Sharks, so we were always like pretty good, but not really that good. I've kind of started to get into it. I think the Leafs are kind of sick. That might be my team now.
You got to start listen, Mitch, this is what we're going to do. Like I said, we're going to be your propaganda guy from here on out. We're going to go to a Leaf game with you. We're going to let the people know Mitch White is there. And you just got to chug a beer on the Jumbotron. And then next, like Matt Chapman, listen, Matt Chapman did it all right. Matt Chapman last year, someone has to give a raise to his publicist because he went to a Jays game last year and just chugged the beer for the people on the Jumbotron. And now he's just the most universally loved player of all time. So that's you got to get in there, Mitch.
As he should be. That guy's a dog. I mean, yeah, we'll figure it out.
I would die for Matt Chapman. I would die for Matt. How you being a player and you seeing it and stuff like that? Do you like see the awards and be like, what the fuck? Like Matt Chapman didn't get a Gold Glove. Like how much does that not piss you off, but like make you like, what are they doing here?
I didn't even know that. Who won it? Said it.
The Orioles guy. What's his name? Urias?
Yeah.
Oh, Ramon.
Yeah.
Really? Dude, I don't know. I mean, I don't really pay attention to all that stuff, but that is crazy. I've seen some of the stuff Chappie's done, and it is incredible.
He is.
I mean, it's funny because he'll like make a diving stop and kind of bobble it or whatever, and he'll say sorry to you. Like, I should have had that, bro. I should have had that, blah, blah. Nasty, that's why.
Dude, he's all time. But I wanted to talk about also like Springer, because obviously I don't think we asked Jano about him, but Springer obviously plays a massive presence and just based off his experience, stuff like that. What was it like? Like, what's it like playing with Springer, and like, what's the role that he plays in the clubhouse and the dugout and all that type of stuff?
I mean, George is one of those guys. He's a leader in the clubhouse for sure. I don't think I really appreciated how good he was until I seen him. I think a lot of that was the AL/NL thing. Like, I hadn't seen a lot of the guys that play against and play with, so you don't really realize. Obviously, you know the names, but seeing George hit and like how explosive he is, it's pretty insane. And then in the clubhouse, obviously, it just kind of continues through. He's the one guy with a little experience, like you said. He's been there, he's done it, and that plays a lot all across the board.
He is unreal. What about Manoah? Like he's only been in the league for 2 years. So much poise. I think he was the runner-up or third for Cy Young voting. What's it like? What's it like watching this guy pitch every 5 days, just from the dugout, the clubhouse's preparation? Yeah,
I mean, he's another guy who's, like I said a little before, what you see is what you get. Like, you see his attitude on the mound, and that's who he is as a person, and it's just genuine out there, and he's the man. And then the poise and all that is insane. Like, I've been in the league now for parts of 3 years, and it's a struggle. It's hard. He makes it look easy as hell. It is insane. The stuff he does, the way he gets out of jams, the way he works in and out of trouble, just the little things like that. As a pitcher, it's pretty fun to watch, and it doesn't look like he's a 25-year-old guy who's been in the league for a couple of years.
He seems like an awesome guy. My brother goes to Florida International, and that's where he's been like kind of training. He said, awesome guy. And I played against him high school. We lost 1-0. He hit a home run in the game. And he's just like, yeah, this is the best pitcher over there. For one guy on the staff, you see it all the time. If you could take one pitch from a guy on the starting staff, what's like the go-to one that you'd love?
Gossman.
Yeah.
Easy.
Just the splitter.
Oh, the split. Yeah, I'd love that pitch so much. I want it. I mean, the changeup is similar, obviously similar look. I've always wanted to throw a changeup. That splitter is that much sicker, and it's unbelievable. He'll throw it 3 times in a row with 2 strikes, and it's just like, all right, you take that one, and you swing over the top of that one. So it's easy.
Have you tried to throw a splitter? Like, I mean, you obviously have tried it once or twice. How hard is it to throw it?
I mean, the way he throws it especially is crazy because the ball is like right here in his palm. It's not deep, so it feels like you're gonna lose it. And for me, I throw it and it goes 10 feet up and right. But for him, he throws it and it's just like that I don't know. It is nuts. I've tried. I mean, I kind of screw around a lot in catch play with different pitches and stuff and grips. Like Tony Gonsolin has a really good splitter that I've tried, and I've actually clicked that one a couple times where it's like, oh, that wasn't bad, but it's the same thing. It's just so hard to throw consistently.
I mean, that's just 2 guys with long hair. So I think you grow the hair out. That's
the flow.
That's just the fix to the splitter.
I had the hair in 2020, but I mean, I don't know if that's ever coming back.
You got to bring it back. You got to bring it back. Bring the flow back. I mean, you're living in Canada, man. You're going to be living in Canada. You got to bring the flow back.
We'll see. I had it for COVID and all that, and it was like, all right, I've done that. Check that box off. I think I'm done. We'll see.
Yeah, we might have turned you by the way, by accident to like the Bachelor of Canada now. Like I'm assuming you're not wifed up, but listen, you might have turned into like the Bachelor of Canada now. There's gonna be girls running around thinking you dated Margot Robbie, so you're welcome for that.
Yeah, I'll take it. Any press is good press at this point.
And let's go into the number here. We're big off the field guys, and maybe like changing the mojo and stuff like that. What happened? Like what happened with the number 45? Where did that come from?
I was 66 in LA, and
that kind of fucks. That number fucks.
I don't love 66.
That's a love number here, by the way.
Really? Why?
Munenori Kawasaki, Japanese player. One of the most loved.
Is that the bananas guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. He was 66.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It just for whatever reason I didn't like it in LA, and I just wanted any number but 66, and I was just running through the available numbers, and 45 was up there, and I think I like 45. It's a good number, but gonna have to figure it out a little bit.
Yeah, and by the way, I just got word from one of our listeners that Entertainment Tonight Canada just talked about you dating Margot Robbie on their on like national television and debunked it. I swear to God, that's what I just got a DM from someone that's watching it. That's
wild.
That's going to be a question you're going to be getting in spring training. But I wanted to talk about spring training. Obviously, I mean, like you said, you've made a couple adjustments. You're learning how to throw a change up. What's like one thing you're looking forward to in spring training? Is it just to kind of show the Toronto Blue Jays fans that you've turned stuff around, or like what's the biggest thing?
I mean, my favorite part about spring training is just seeing everyone again. That's the coolest thing. Everyone getting together and being back in that atmosphere. The first couple of days is like, oh man, here we go. And then once you settle into the routine, it's awesome. But in terms of on the field stuff, I don't know. I want to get off the mound. I haven't been off the mound a little bit. Just get back to tinkering on all that stuff, tightening everything up, and then go from there. There's nothing super specific other than that.
Yeah, the spring training.
We're all in. Hey, if you win Cy Young this year, I'm gonna put a ticket in for sure. Mitch White.
What are the odds on that, Abe? Would that be the field?
I don't know if they have odds on that. Yeah, that would be the field.
Well, we're gonna find them. We're gonna bet it because it's gonna happen.
You're a golf guy. Let's go into some off-field stuff. I mean, JR actually runs a golf company,
but the worst golfer of all time.
He's the worst golfer I've ever seen in my life. But that's just besides the fact. What's your handicap, Mitch? Like, how many strokes are me and Avery gonna have to give you?
Bad. I shoot in like the low hundreds, and that's a good day.
Okay, so you and Jared could play straight up.
Maybe it's Mitch versus JR showdown.
Yeah, there we go. I actually took a lesson the other day. I have so much time on my hands. I took a lesson at like Golf Tech or whatever, some golf store down here, and it helped a lot. So we'll see. Might be nasty next time out.
Is that like off
my
the
lesson went terrible. Let's
Yeah.
just say you got to pick the right instructors, because I
Oh, really?
unfortunately got serious issues with the driver, like absurd
yeah.
issues with the driver.
he
You got the
swings and
yips.
misses? Like it's
Yeah,
it's the craziest thing
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
You got the yips, JR. You got the yips.
Is it like something you do? Because I'm shocked when I hear baseball players who are hitters, like Yoenis Cespedes would play golf like every single day. I'm like, how does that not mess up people's baseball swings? Is there like position players on the team that play a decent amount of golf that you know of?
Yeah, there's a handful of guys. I don't know. I've always heard that, and obviously I never hit, as I explained. But I think it's just a different swing. It like it doesn't transfer as much as people think. Like I used to at least have a super baseball-y swing in golf, and it's just slices all day. So you can kind of differentiate the two.
Big thing here is you get hockey players who shoot left and then golf right. So it's like, yeah, there is a big difference with that for sure. But no, I'm excited, man, for Mitch. You get back. The underlying numbers were good, man. Like some of the counting stats don't look so good, but the good fit
We're looking
there.
into it, Mitch. We're looking into it. We already got the propaganda going, man.
Yeah,
And
it's the video we made of you striking out some of the best hitters in the league from last season is awesome. Like,
I love that.
and
it's
then
gonna
there's
get all over
one.
everyone.
There's actually one that I want to talk about. So you punched out Jose Ramirez, and he just snapped his bat, like almost just tore someone's pec. I mean, he like. Did you see that part of the video, Abe? I'm assuming you obviously saw.
I made the video, dude.
Yeah, okay, that's what I meant to say. I mean, obviously you know that what part I'm talking about, but he like legit went super saiyan, like snapped the bat off home plate. How cool is that as a pitcher to just body bag a hitter like that and see them have like a literal meltdown at home plate?
Yeah, I mean that's the best when you know you got someone's head. He was pissed because I threw a curveball the pitch before, which was a strike. When we looked at it later, got balled, but then the umpire at third rung him up on it. So then he got to 2 strikes, and then you could tell he was antsy. So I ripped one off, and I don't know. He got pissed, but that happens. I'm sure he'll get his his revenge someday.
No, you won't. No, Cleveland Guardians are going 0-4 against you next year. But dude, another cool thing about this team is I don't know if you got a chance to kind of like just see the guys that they're bringing in and stuff like that. Who's one guy out of the new acquisitions that you're like the most excited to play with? Because obviously you got Chris Bassett, who's a veteran pitcher, been around the league. He probably has a lot to teach. Who's like one guy you're excited to see?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Varsho a little bit. Bassett's another guy. One guy for me that's kind of cool is Brandon Belt, being a Giants guy. Met him the other day. He's a great dude. That's just kind of cool because he's been on those teams like 2010, 2012, and 14 when they won it all. Just growing up watching those guys, that's pretty cool.
Oh, so you're a
Giants fan growing up.
Yeah, you're a Giants fan growing up.
So you hated the Dodgers for forever till they drafted you.
And then I flip-flopped real quick, and now it's like whatever. But
that fires me up. That fires me up. So a couple more things. Another thing I'm excited I wanted to talk about with you is obviously, I mean, listen, you're coming into this year kind of on a clean slate. You're like fighting for like the 5th starter role. No one's really looked at what you did last year. Like obviously front office isn't looking at it as well because they're giving you a clean slate going into next year. How fired up are you to kind of just, obviously spring trainings are kind of meaningless games a lot of the time, but how fired up are you to just kind of compete again and like just compete for a 5th spot on like one of the American League favorites?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best part of it is having that runway where, I mean, the opportunity is there no matter what. And then to be out there, it's like for me, these spring training games are huge just because obviously I have to prove myself, but that's the best part of it. Like you still get to go out there and get a chance at least. I've never really had that opportunity until now. So that'll be fun.
JR, do you got anything left for a little mega meet Mitch here?
Yeah, I think the Brandon Belt thing is really cool. I didn't really put that together that like you would look at, you'd look at him sort of as this guy that you grew up watching and all this. And I think one of the things is he made, I don't know if you've seen it, but he made a statement on a Toronto radio show. And he pretty much said like, the Jays are like, should be expected kind of World Series favorites. So like, I think like him coming in with that presence, we all think it's good, but like a veteran like him, World Series champ, I think it's going to be great for you guys. And we're insanely excited for this year. There's some sort of vibe. Like you talk about David Price. We always talk about it on the pod. Like when we traded for David Price, Toronto had this vibe that was like crazy. Like we were all in, and it feels like that vibe is coming back. So I think it's going to be a great year.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I think great additions, great veteran type players as well. A little mix up. Sometimes that's all it takes. It's just different bodies. Because for whatever reason, it's not like a talent thing. Just something clicks sometimes, and crazy stuff happens.
And this is the last thing. We're ended off with this. We're big nickname guys. All right. We've come up with a lot of big nicknames
Yeah,
for
I
the
can
Jays.
tell.
We got you with Mega Meat Mitch. So we came up with a nickname for Alejandro Kirk called Thick Jesus. And we made these electric shirts of him, like just over Jesus's face on the back. Sold a pretty decent amount of them. What's it like playing with Alejandro Kirk? Because this is a guy here. I don't know if you know his story. He signed for like, I think 10,000 out of Mexico. The Jays went to watch someone else and they saw him and they're like, we got to sign this guy. What's it like playing with Thick Jesus? What is it like throwing to him, watching him hit? He is just such a specimen. I love him.
Yeah, dude rakes. That's the best. That's the beauty of baseball. It's like just anyone can go out and do it. Obviously, you got to be a freak like he is, just a pure hitter. But it is so fun to watch, and everyone just love. Like I remember he was on second or something at some point, rounding third, like crazy hard, and you see him running, and they got like the slow-mo video in the post game. It's just it's stuff like that. It just gets you going. Everyone loves him.
I love him. Actually, I wanted to with this because I asked Janu about this. What's John Schneider like? We talk about, I mean, you got to play for a pretty good manager in LA as well, but what makes John Schneider different? Because Janu talked about like all the players loving him. You see him drinking beers with the boys when you guys clinch. Like, what's it like with Janu? Like, what's it like with John Schneider?
He's one of the guys. He'll go out, like you said, he'll go out, drink some beers, hang out, and there's no sense of like a separation between him as a coach. Everyone respects him in that regard, but then also he's a person on the other side. And I think that's super important as a manager to be able to relate to guys like that and just be a dude.
We're all over the John Schneider train, so we love that. But anyways, Mitch, this is gonna. I mean, listen, like I said earlier, if you don't buy a Mitch White jersey after listening to this podcast, you're brain dead. I might order the first one. Actually, there's a jersey of you on the Toronto Blue Jays auction, game used Mitch White jersey. I might have to put an order in for it because I'm a Mitch White guy now. But this was awesome, man. I mean, the people are. It's cool to see this side of you, this perspective of you. I think the fans are gonna love it, man. And we're fired up for you next year, buddy. We're gonna have the propaganda going. We're gonna be Mega Meat Mitch guys forever till we die. That's all you need to do is just come on the podcast. But we really do appreciate you, brother. Thanks for doing this.
Of course, guys. Great to meet you all, and thanks for having me. It's fun.